the high value men that Kevin is talking about,
Yes.
they're all at midlife crisis age range.
Okay.
That's the period of life that they're in.
Midlife
Coincidentally, Kevin is 52.
Oh.
Which puts him in the
his
age
midlife
range
crisis.
of the midlife crisis.
It's Cupid in love. 1, 2. Too young for a bucket list, too hot for a night like this.
What's up, family? Welcome to Cupid and Love. What you doing? You trying to make sure you're friendly, huh?
Yes.
If you're not friendly, Kevin Samuel's gonna get you.
Out. Mm-hmm.
You better be fit, cooperative, and friendly.
Smile.
So I did some research, and I found that around 40 and 55 is also when a lot of men enter a midlife crisis.
What happens during this midlife crisis?
It's crazy. So, well, first of all, we need to understand two things. So the high value men that Kevin is talking about,
yes,
they're all at midlife crisis age range.
Okay.
That's the period of life that they're in, midlife crisis.
And we've all heard back things about midlife
Coincidentally, Kevin is 52.
Oh.
Which puts him in the
his
age
midlife
range
crisis.
of the midlife crisis. So when he tells us, I talk to high value men, I know exactly what they want. Let's be real clear. Kevin is a professional image consultant stylist. What he's really telling us is men who are suffering from a midlife crisis come to him
to restyle them during their crisis so that they can get what? What is it? What is the midlife crisis? I keep asking. Please enlighten me.
So there are a few symptoms of a midlife crisis.
Okay.
One is that there is a feeling of being unfulfilled in your life.
Okay. That's
Doesn't
crazy.
that sound
It sounds very
familiar? Kevin talks about how that men are looking for women and they can't find them. They want this certain type of woman and they can't find them.
Okay.
So they're feeling unfulfilled.
Okay.
Okay. Another symptom, intense feelings of nostalgia. Nostalgia is when you always like reaching back, like, oh, I remember when my glory days.
Oh,
back
that's
in the
when
60s.
we look back at our parents and see where they were back when we used to be younger, right?
Kevin Samuels is always looking back to how things used to be when a woman was more submissive, when a woman knew her place. That is a symptom of a midlife crisis, intense feelings of nostalgia. Next.
So how I used to be fit, how I used to pull the women, how I used to do this, how I used to do that.
And then they start tripping out about that because they're not now.
Oh, so they get restyled.
Which is why they go to Kevin.
Yes.
So he can help them like figure out how to get their mojo back, right? You know, get the whole gray beard, the whole Isley Brothers thing.
And what's the next one, babe?
Impulse. Well, no, not that one. Marital infidelity or constant thoughts about infidelity.
Oh, so exercising his options and keeping her on her toes.
Kevin is always talking about almost like obsessively about infidelity. Explaining to women they have to accept infidelity in a relationship from a high value man. They can expect that, but it's to keep them on their toes. It's a big conversation for him, and it's also a symptom of a midlife crisis. Constant thoughts about infidelity. Next, constantly comparing oneself to others who seem happier or more fulfilled. He does this a lot.
When?
Because he's always making the point that white women and Asian women, they know how to please their men.
Okay.
They don't have the problems that we do. He's
get
constantly comparing blacks to other people because he feels
that
unfulfilled.
Okay, got it.
So essentially what's going on is the Kevin Samuels show is
for midlife crisis.
It's a real life IG live. We are watching this man melt down during his midlife crisis. The problem is people are being exposed to it and they're taking it in,
internalizing this information from this.
But a lot of these young guys, they're not even there. They're not even at midlife.
No. I mean, okay, because he takes facts and then he omits some facts and then he mixes it together.
Well, he sure admitted that he was going through a midlife crisis.
Well, he probably doesn't know that he's going through a midlife
crisis. Yes, he does, because he talks about therapy all the time. He's already been to therapy. He knows that he's had a midlife crisis. And he's always reading facts from the Labor Bureau of Statistics.
Okay.
He missed that one. Kev, if you didn't know it, you're going through a midlife crisis.
And so are your friends.
So Kev needs to get, and your clients. So you need to take your own advice and go get some therapy. And then maybe after he's gotten therapy, he can come back and talk
and be a better person.
Also be a better coach.
Yeah.
And really help Black relationships where they need the help, because where we need help is in managing our emotions.
Yes.
Like we need help in overcoming fear and shame and accountability, not blaming women or even blaming men. But you're not there yet.
It's a balancing act.
Because you're in a crisis. We can't help you, man. You need therapy.
You gotta first recognize it and then decide to go get help.
So he needs to ask his own questions. Be like,
how old am I? How much do I weigh?
what's your hat size? Do you have a big dick? These are midlife crisis questions. Look, for real.
Yeah.
A guy, when he reaches his midlife, one of the things is that, his penis doesn't get as erect, right? So he's concerned about that. If you notice, Kevin asked that dude about the size of his dick with such intensity.
It's getting kind of hot in here.
He's going through a midlife crisis.
Sorry, Kevin.
He needs help.
We care about you.
He's having a big career change.
Yes.
He's moving from New York and his fashion stylist to like huge YouTuber. Like, what I like about him is that he's making the best of his midlife crisis. Right? He is.
But he is spreading, it's like a disease. He's
doing
spreading it
on
to
the backs of Black women.
Yeah. But I don't like the argument that they make. They say, well, when he started out, he was getting on Black men. That doesn't make his facts
that
correct.
Didn't bring him fame.
No.
So that's what he's doing.
Well, you're saying that he's switching over to women because it didn't get him bigger. But at bottom line is, if the information is incorrect, it doesn't matter if he's giving it to men or giving it to women. It's incorrect.
Well, we always have to consider our source.
Yes.
And if the source of certain information is coming from a man in the midlife crisis, and everything he says seems to fit what a dude having a midlife crisis would say, then we can't just throw out his facts. We have to fact check them. But it's important to consider who this person is saying this, where he is in his life.
So it's like a minister at a church, and he's on the up on the altar, and he's interpreting the Bible, and it's the interpretation of what the facts are, and that's what he's doing. He's interpreting it. He's based off of his experience.
Sure, he's interpreting it, but we also need to look at where is this minister in his life? What's going on in his life right now that is impacting the way that he interprets the word?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the thing with Kev. It could be, I'm not a therapist, but it could be that where he is in life is the reason why he's giving the advice he's giving. I don't know. But I keep it in love.
We ready. It's Cupid in love. 1, 2. Too young for a bucket list, too hot for a night like this. Two hearts on a flight to adventure, to dementia. We can relax on the beach with the jets.